Progress made in assisting retrenched workers. The Pickety Crop finalists named. And in sports, World Cup hero Jofra Archer reflects on playing for England.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC Newsnight, starting now.
Very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom, and this is Newsnight. In our top story tonight, government has been making some headway in helping the 1,100 workers who were retrenched under the Barbados Economic Recovery Transformation Program, or BERT, find jobs. According to Special Advisor to the Prime Minister on Poverty Alleviation and Sustainable Development Goals, Corey Lane, the work of the Household Mitigation Unit has been bearing fruit.
I want to thank G4S outright. They've decided to take some persons from us directly. PBS, they're working with at least 40 of them. The MTW with the cleaning program, they took on an additional 62. And some other private people who own taxis, and all type of different people have been reaching out to the unit, so we understand the position. Can you forward us some names of some good candidates for work?
And even though many people have received the requisite funds that were owed to them, Mr. Lane says many of them are still broke. And with this in mind, he says he has made a proposal to have financial literacy programs introduced.
The budget that we need every single day, we don't know anything about financial literacy. A lot of us are financially illiterate. One of the things coming out of the Household Mitigation Unit that I learned is that a number of persons were given gratuity and severance, and within weeks they were in trouble because they ran and paid off their loans because they were scared, and then they had cash flow problems. That speaks to financial literacy and is one of the programs that I've already put forward in terms of how can we get financial literacy as a program for the average Barbadian, but more so for those living in poverty.
Several former monarchs will come up against reigning King Blood in this year's Courtesy Pickety Crop Finals. The field of 17 finalists also includes 7 women. The announcement was made last night. First Citizens Digicel Big Show tent copped the lion's share of finalists, with AC, Crystal Cummins Beckles, Classic, Edwin Yearwood, J Slow, Mr. Dale and TC making it to the finals. Chairman Hallam Nichols says the tent is content with the placements and the competition. Mr. Nichols says the tent had no difficulty with the new one-song rule. Now, 6 Calypsonians from the Cave Shepherd All-Stars tent made it to the Pickety Crop Finals. They are Donella, Granny, Jude Clark, Kid Sight, Sammy Dello and Terry. The remaining finalists are Faith, Sammy G and Ramesses of House of Soca, and Sammy Jane of Stray Cats Calypso tent. 4 of the songs which advanced to the finals were written by the Water Street Boys duo of our very own Shane Jones and Ian Webster. That team is over the moon as they've created history in the competition's new format. The news is even sweeter for them given some of the challenges they faced in the preparation phases.
We wanted to have a really big involvement in Pickety Crop this year, and it came out that way. So Ian is actually in England right now studying. He's finishing his master's, and so we were wondering if this year was really going to pan out the way we wanted it to, because we had to do a lot of Skype sessions. He's 5 hours ahead. It was really hard sometimes getting together and working, but it was a lot of long hours, and we are very satisfied with the way things are going, especially with Ramesses, Terry and Faith. TC is a perennial finalist, but we really wanted to push ourselves and see if we could get those people who were never in the final before into a final. We wanted to see how good we could push our limits, because we've done work with Ian, we done work with Donella. Those people have been making finals for a long time, but we really wanted to push ourselves, and we're really humbled by the result.
Well, tonight, the future of Calypso competes for the top spots in the Scotiabank Junior Calypso Monarch Finals at the Garfield Sobers Gymnasium. Live coverage of this big event comes your way on TV8 right after the news at 7:30. Although Crop Over 2019 seems to be one of the slowest years for masquerade band leaders, they're still seeking to put on a spectacular show for Grand Kadooment. And given a decline in subscriptions from Barbadians, more of them are embracing different strategies like roping in visitors to jump this year. Our Rianne Phillips visited some of the band houses and filed this report.
Veteran band leader Betty West has seen a 100% increase from overseas nationals registered this year in her 300-strong adult band.
Lucky for me, last year I had a crew from the States. It was 12 of them, and now there are 42 of them. So it's building.
Albeit not as many as past years, Contact Band has maintained some interest from its overseas clientele. This year, band leader Anthony Lane is expecting to take a contingent of between 75 and 100 visitors on the road.
We really look for around 400 to 500 people because we always say that that is a good manageable number. But this year is going to be a little challenging because the numbers are a little slow in coming. So it might be a challenge this year to reach that target.
These injections of overseas revelers seem to be a silver lining of sorts behind the dark clouds that have loomed over band houses this year.
Through lack of a sponsorship, I'm forced to do a lot myself. I cannot afford to employ people and whatnot, but we're coming on and we're going to be ready.
Our band usually have the majority of overseas people jumping into the band. The word from them is that the fares are too high, accommodation, and also we will have to look at the pricing of our costumes as well as factors that would cause them not to come. But we still can't play dead, so we got to get up and fight, but we got to look at the overall picture to see where the issue is.
And the smaller bands are not immune to those issues. Trevor Chase from Outrage will be sticking to the small band category with his contribution that is based on the Fish and Dragon Festival.
We used to try to find out why we had so many people in the days of the old bands. But think back and you would see there were no breakfast fets. There were about 3 bands that did 4 day morning. And then everybody waited for Grand Kadooment. Now, before the season starts and you look at the program, there are about 40 events before Grand Kadooment.
The big day is over 2 weeks away, and many of these band leaders will continuously work around the clock to have costumes completed for distribution. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
Thanks, Rianne. And one of Barbados' most vocal anti-alcohol advocates has passed away. CBC understands that Pastor Victor Roach died yesterday at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. The former president of the National Committee for the Prevention of Alcohol and Drug Dependency mounted a strong campaign against the sale of tobacco and alcohol to minors and smoking in public places. The FBI has reached out to Barbados to assist local police in improving their crime-fighting tactics. Attorney General Dale Marshall, in welcoming the news, also requested training to be extended to the force's Financial Intelligence Crime Unit and the Fraud Investigations Unit. Mr. Marshall made the request following a recent courtesy call with U.S. Ambassador Linda Tagliatella, legal attaché from the U.S. Department of Justice Federal Bureau of Investigations James Dempsey, and Director of the Narcotics and Law Enforcement Section of the U.S. Embassy Janet Curich. Mr. Marshall admitted the 32 murders committed so far this year were a tremendous concern for government, as some of the cases were quite horrific. A brazen attack by 2 gunmen has left a Barkers Road, Haggett Hall, St. Michael family shaken. Around 10 o'clock last night, the assailants were spotted hiding behind a van, and the alarm was raised that the men may have been planning a robbery. Well, several bullet holes and broken furniture tell the tale of what unfolded next as the men fired several shots at a house in the area. Homeowner Averil Jordan recounts how one of the gunmen tried to enter her home.
They kick out the door, mash up, kick out all these cylinders here, bust up this one here, pushing hand through there and call the train to get the key to pull up the door. And he run and break the fall with me hand, you understand? And he behind me. So after me son, the feeling that I did get shot, cause he hollering for me and he didn't hear me, cause I did dunk on the ground. When he kick out this here, most set and everything dropped down on the ground. So he couldn't get away. He couldn't get over the set. So he bung and he went back down, went back through the door, and this is all this arm forward.